So you want to make an impact. You're thinking about starting a business, sharing your voice. How do women do it that handle motherhood, family, and still chase after those dreams? Well, listen each week as we dive into the stories of women who know. This is Call Me CEO. Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of Call Me CEO. And today we are talking about entrepreneurial anxiety, which we all have anxiety these days. I think that that's something that post-pandemic or, just coming out of the weeds of all of that, there's a lot of anxiety and mental health concerns that we have as humans, as parents for our children, and also especially as business owners, entrepreneurial anxiety. And today we are talking to the expert, Lianne Kim, who found that topic as a piece that she wants to dive into. I'm so excited about this. She's the author of Building a Joyful Business and also the host of The Business of Thinking Big. So thank you so much for being on the episode on this podcast today. I'm so excited to talk to you.
Thank you so much for having me, Camille. I'm grateful to be here.
Yeah. So please tell our audience about yourself. And we here, most of us are mothers. So please share your family and where you live and a little bit about you.
Sure. So my name is Lianne Kim. I live in Toronto, Canada, and I'm a mom of two little ones, Julia and Alex, my little monsters. And I started my business as a side hustle years ago because I had just come off of two back-to-back maternity leaves, basically. And here in Canada, we get these lovely, luxurious one-year maternity leaves.
It's amazing.
And I really bonded with I know we're very spoiled. At the time, I had a corporate job and I didn't, I liked it, but I didn't love it. And so I thought, sure, I'll take the year, I'll get to know my kids, and I'll see what I want to do next. And over that period, what I realized is that I wanted more time and more control over my time and how I spent it. I was very good at specific things. I was in sales and marketing and I liked it. But as I say, I just felt like after having kids, I was looking for something that gave me more of that sense of purpose and fulfillment, and also would allow me to take a Friday off if I wanted to take my kids to the zoo, or, a week off if we wanted to go to Disney. And that just wasn't the case with, being employed. So I started this little side hustle business. My first business was an arts and crafts business, actually. And while I had that business, I realized how much I didn't know about self-employment. And so I posted in this Facebook group, hey, are there any mamas here who have their own business and want to get together for a glass of wine? And the response was huge. 7 women came out on that first night in a snowstorm in Toronto. And I was like, okay, if 7 mamas are going to come out in a snowstorm, that tells me that we are onto something. And it's just grown and blossomed since then.
That's wonderful. So tell our audience what it is, what that community looks like, and where it is right now.
Sure. So back in the day, we did a lot of in-person meetups because that's what I was craving at the time. Now we're almost 8 years later. Everything we do is online. We have hundreds of members inside the Mamas & Co community, which is where I teach, I coach, and basically inspire mamas to start and grow profitable businesses so they can live their wildest dreams. We also have a team of mentors and growing team of coaches inside the community so that they can also share their knowledge and wisdom with newer mama entrepreneurs who are just starting out. And it's such a magical space. I always say I had a membership before I even knew what memberships were. I had a community before that was even a thing. And now, we're going to celebrate our 8th anniversary coming up fall of 2022. It's very exciting.
Wow, that is so cool. I am just starting now to offer coaching to women growing their businesses as virtual assistants, as well as women growing their business and or hiring virtual assistants. How do you do that? How do you grow a business? And man, the coaching world is so much fun. I love it so much, connecting with women one-on-one and helping them reach their goals. So I am sure there's so much that I can learn from you today, as well as our audience. Talking with you about one of the number one questions I get over and over is, how do we create balance within our lives, building a business, pursuing our passions, whether it's a hobby or even getting out to go to the gym or something that you hope to grow into something really large. And what would your answer be to that?
Well, first of all, I think we have to embrace and be open to balance. I think a lot of people find that word triggering because it
Mhm.
brings up this sort of antiquated ideas of things needing to be perfectly in balance, which I'm not a fan of anything that has the word perfect in it
Yeah.
because I don't believe that that exists. But I do believe that balance exists. And I think, I did a podcast episode on this recently on my own show called A New Approach to Balance. And I'll happily share that with your listeners as well if you want to link to it in the show notes. But the concept that I shared is, let's not let language get in the way of what we really want. So if the word balance doesn't sound realistic to you, or, it doesn't sound like what you're looking for, then substitute that word for more joy. I think most of us would want to create more joy in our businesses and our lives. None of us got into this because we want to, hammer away at our laptop day in and day out and be a victim to other people's, needs and desires. And so I am a real fan of, if you want it, you've got to prioritize it. You've got to get it on the calendar, and then you have to ask for the help that you need to get it. So from very early on, when my babies were babies, my sister gave me some great advice. She said, ask daddy to do bath time. And I was like, why? And she's like, because it's the one thing that you don't have to do. And it's
Mm,
in the evening and he can do it when he gets home from work. And I thought that's interesting. She said, if you want him to be more involved as a partner, you have to ask for it from day one. And then it just becomes a habit. But if you
yeah.
try to implement it later, you've built up these bad patterns. And so she was right. From day one, I asked him to take on bath time, asked him to take the kids to, I'm very clear on, like, I need my me time.
Mhm.
So, we book babysitters often. They've been in daycare because for me, daycare equals balance. Daycare equals me having time for me to do what I love. And so I think we have to be open to asking for help. We have to be open to paying for help, which as you know, in the virtual assistant world is so critical when we can just get to that point of
Mhm.
being open to receiving help and
Yes.
investing in help. It's a different way of thinking, but once we get there, it's game changing. And that's just, I could go on about this balance like forever, but there's a couple of pointers in there.
Yeah, I really appreciate that. And it's funny because a lot of times the women that I'm coaching who need to grow their business and get the help of a virtual assistant, they really have a hard time with trust and knowing when is the right time and how to make those steps. And oftentimes that's really what that part of the coaching comes in, is where I help them go through those steps of what do you need to be able to let go, and how do you want to structure your time and identify the white space in your life, because I feel like that's where we can find that balance, is when we give ourselves room to breathe, and to live the life that we want to live.
Absolutely. If we want it, we have to claim it, we have to ask for it, and then we got to plan for it.